Hi everyone, this is Dr. Essie Stacey, helping you to be well. Hi everyone, welcome to the patient journey. So what I've got is I've asked brother-in-law Tim if I can follow him through his journey back to health. Well, he's not that sick, but he wants to be tip-top form. And so because what I find is that when people listen to me, they get information and they try and put that information into their lives, but sometimes they get stuck. And doing the patient journey shows you what it's like in real life. And Tim has agreed to, let me follow him, and the ups and the downs. He does a bit of a vlog and stuff like that. So this is, and we're going to be following him over the months to see how he gets on his patient journey. Now, he's not a patient. That's a play on words because basically we need to be patient. So he's not my patient, but I'm helping him on his journey and on that patient journey. So without much ado, let's start. Let's go to the beginning. Okay, so Tim, introduce yourself and tell everyone what we're doing and why we're doing it.
Okay, so I'm Tim. I am Essie's brother-in-law. I am a teacher. So Essie asked me to kind of go through a typical week of what I eat, and kind of no holds barred, just kind of look deep into those cupboards and be brutally honest. And it was tough. It was a tough week. So I've shown, and I know that I've got an incredibly sweet tooth, and I know that the evenings are the worst for me. I can be fairly disciplined, I would say, during the week, during the daytime, but come the evening when I've got back from school, all hell breaks loose, and I am diving into crisps, I'm diving into chocolate, as well as having a nice meal. Mm-hmm. So it's good just to kind of be honest at this point.
And so, what are your goals? What am I going to be helping you with?
Well, I think just small steps in the sense of like I have started the last couple of weeks having figs in olive oil, which again, I've been surprised at how filling they are, and it's fine, I haven't kind of done a horror moment really. So just kind of like substitution, and I do drink kombucha, and I do have some kefir. But I suppose the idea is that with me, my food, it's all kind of emotion driven. So and I think I will, as you'll see, I go into the kitchen, I just want to eat quickly and go. I don't want to do mass preparation, which I probably need to address, and kind of prepare my food a lot healthier for the week.
Okay, and so what I'm getting is you'd like to get a handle on your eating. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And are there some health goals as well?
I think definitely reduce the amount of sugar I take, and it does fluctuate, and just to be more, I'm carb aware, but I know I have my carbicide moments. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think. Okay,
and do you have any health issues, like any symptoms or diagnoses that you want to sort of roll back on? Or?
No, I had a checkup about a couple of years ago, and I think my thyroid was borderline, I think.
What, low or high? Yeah. When it's low, it can be part of the sort of weight gain or weight gain thing, which is a gut thing, which is a gut based thing. We can, when you sort your gut out, sometimes that will correct itself. So that's something we can address. And going forwards, I like to ask people, where are we going? What does the future look like to you?
I think for me, I would definitely like to, even when I'm teaching, because in term time it is the litmus test for me, just have a control on just the amount I eat, and I think eat more fermented food. I think absolutely.
And so when I'm saying, and everyone does this, right? So when I ask them where we're going, they always say, I don't want to be doing this. So I like the way you said, eat more fermented food. So what does your plate look like going forwards, would you say, or your evening look like going forward?
Okay, so hopefully my ideal evening, coming back, let's say from a very stressful day at school, I would just reach for some figs and have them on some cabbage as a little starter instead of my crisps. And then the main meal, again, I would just have meat, really. Be it, I don't know, fermented meat in some way or other, with some vegetables, and then it's the sweet thing afterwards, which I need to knock on the head, I think, really. Right. After that, because I know I can sense in myself, if I have one element of sugar, it triggers me. Yeah. And then it's just a roller coaster for the whole evening. Yeah. And during lockdown, it was awful.
Yeah, so it's a hit.
It's a hit. It is a hit.
It's that adrenaline or dopamine hit that you get, and you're like, Yeah. Okay, I get it. So let's have a look then at your video. So what Tim's done is he's compiled his meals for the past week. So now I'm going to review them.
Okay, so Monday, I'm going to show you what is in my fridge. So my one weakness, well, actually I've got more than one weakness, but I love my yogurts. So here I've got a whole nice array of Tesco Finest yogurts, raspberry and strawberry, and also Tesco Finest passion fruit and mango kind of mousse. Then I've got Bon Maman rhubarb and strawberry, which was new, so I tried that. I've got some more yogurts there, and also I love my cheesecake. It's my favourite cheesecake, which is New York cheesecake with raspberry and passion fruit. I've also got...
So you've got a fridge just full of yogurt.
This was actually quite a good day, really. And only because I hadn't actually been to Waitrose, and if I go to Waitrose, then if anything is reduced, I'm a sucker for it. I've just got to get it. So I need to probably stop going to Waitrose. But yes, no, you're absolutely right. It was some Waitrose slow cooked pork with a miso maple glaze, which is lovely. I've got some ham, I've got some kefir at the bottom, I've got some more yogurts, okay. I've got some cheese at the back, down there, okay. Got some avocados, bananas, eggs. My also go-to snack are crisps. So I've got some McCoys, I've got some Kettles, I've got some Tesco Finest, I've got some more Kettles in there.
Have to just tell everyone that everybody in the whole household, we live in this very special household, which is one big house, but there's an upstairs and downstairs, and he lives downstairs. Everybody in the whole household knows where to go to get the treats. It's in Uncle Tim's cupboards. So he's just telling it this showing.
I support everyone doing my crisps.
So let's carry on.
My one healthy bit here is my figs in olive oil, okay? Also got down here, just got some more ham and bacon, and I've got a roasted garlic and extra virgin olive oil, flatbread, some milk. And then my other Achilles heel is I love my magnums, and so I've got two. I've got some more stashed away as well in another freezer. It's always good to have backup. But today I'm starting off with a cabbage and fig. I see the fig there, but there's one fig in there as a starter, because I normally.
So, would you normally have that, or were you just having?
No, that was the first time, I think, when you had done your talk about figs, and again, just small steps, and I've never really, I've shunned figs.
Yeah, and
anyway.
What do you feel?
Actually, it was fine. It was more than fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really doable.
Excellent. So let's carry on. If anyone wants to know about the figs, it's on the webinar, on one of my webinars.
I have crisps for starters. So I'm trying to cut down on the crisps and go for the cabbage and fig. And then I'm going to have a chicken korma meal. I need to whack it in the microwave when it's done. I'm going to have some bacon as well with it, because I just need to eat that up as well. My other thing is I love my walnut whips. So I've got some walnut whips there, and of course I can never have one. If I open one of these, I have to have all three of them in the box. Okay, so it's pretty lethal, but it does the trick. Okay, so that is that. So here's my meal. But remember, this is my only meal.
So that's your ready meal. How often are you having these ready meals?
I would say, on average, about twice a week. Mm-hmm. So I'm not a slave to them, but it's as I said, my modus operandi. I go to the kitchen. I want to eat quickly and I want to leave.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I get it.
For the day, because I haven't had any breakfast. I just had a banana for lunch, and I had about 3 coffees. I had an apple as well. So this is my main meal. Got my bacon there, got my avocado as well, and I've decided I'm going to have my dessert part of my New York cheesecake. And what I normally do when I have a cheesecake like this, I make it last for 4 days. I have a quarter of it per day, which I think is not too bad. Okay, and it wasn't special. Because this is Tuesday, this is what I'm having today, and what I've done is that I've got a lovely Greek salad, and I've added to the Greek salad with some reduced fat.
So what makes that a Greek salad?
Well, no, okay, so I'm just educating people out there. Okay. So no, I buy a ready prepared Greek salad.
Okay, they've called it a Greek salad.
Yeah, because there are little portions of mozzarella.
Okay.
That's only Greek bit, I think, in it. And then I've just supplemented it.
With bacon
and avocado.
Okay, there's avocado in there.
Yeah, and some eggs as well.
Yeah, I can see that.
So again,
bacon appears a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think that actually is reduced salt bacon. I'm just kind of like.
Yeah. Okay.
But yes, bacon is a staple, I think. I would say I've got it around.
Yeah. Okay, let's carry on.
Or reduced salt, I should say, bacon. I've added some more cheese, and there is some feta cheese lurking underneath, but I've also added some eggs. And I haven't had my cabbage or my figs because I run out of cabbage. So I'm going to see if this will be enough. And then, of course, I've got my treat for the day. So I'll have another quarter of that. Okay, so, and I haven't eaten, well, I have my banana at lunchtime, and that has been it all day. So, not bad so far. Okay, so today is Wednesday, and this is a bit of a basic and simple dinner. So I'm trying to eat up everything which I have randomly. So I've just got some ham, some eggs, a bit of cheese, and this flat naan type.
So yeah, it is basic, I guess, in terms, and there's a theme here that I know, like ham and eggs, little bits of cheese, and yeah, the carb bit, isn't there? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's my first major excess.
And did you eat the whole lot?
Oh yeah. That's not a problem. I think I accidentally, came upon them in Sainsbury's, and again, it's just, I thought I started having them with my my chicken korma,
But I can show you how to make those, which are healthy, and then you can have your fix.
Okay, all right.
So let's
garlic bread, and of course my usual, just a quarter of a segment of that lovely cheesecake. But yeah, no, I haven't eaten. I only had a banana for lunch and an apple midway through the afternoon. So I am ready for, a bit of indulgence. Anyway, so this is Wednesday. Okay, so this is Thursday, and I've started off with disaster. I thought I'd have these 2 boiled eggs, but I forgot I was boiling them. And now they look, well, they don't look that appetizing, quite frankly. So that is a shame, but lesson learned. Okay, so I've had to think quickly, and I've gone back to my tried and trusted starter. Dun, dun, dun. I kind of feel they are small packets, so it's kind of okay. Anyway, then I'm moving seamlessly on to my chicken, prawn and chorizo paella. You can hear it in the microwave now, just done. So that should be tasty. I might have a cheeky fig in there, okay? And then I've got my last quarter of my nice cheesecake, but I might supplement it with one of my Tesco Finest yogurts, okay? And again, I haven't eaten, I've only had a banana all day.
So I'm just going to pause it there, because the yogurt's not necessarily bad in inverted commas, but I just wonder whether we can make it healthier.
I'm sure
healthier, if we could just ferment it ourselves. Again, it's something you could probably do. We could probably do that whole batch for the week, put it in the fridge, and then you can just spoon that out after the meal.
Yes, no, I need to segue off them, and I was thinking of actually, cause I go through phases of eating the kefir and then not eating the kefir, so.
And is it kefir with the fruit in?
No, it's just pure kefir.
So we could make you a substitute for that, which is actually got, bursting with good stuff. And it may be that, it just may be what you need to be satiated and not feel that you need to eat loads. So let's carry on.
So, that's Thursday for you. Okay, no, but the eggs are totally best forgotten. Okay, so after yesterday's disaster, I've gone back to what I know. Pretty tried and trusted, so I've already eaten 2 figs, and I'm just going to go back to my salad with some bacon and then my Tesco Finest
Fab. So,
Okay.
oops, I've started it off again. Fab. So, I don't think that's too bad.
Oh, okay. I know there are bad points in it. I'm fully aware of.
Yeah, if you don't mind saying, how old are you?
I'm 52.
Yeah, so you're not doing too badly, are you?
Yeah.
But I know that you perhaps want to also get on stage again, don't you?
Yeah, I think I've just noticed of the last couple of years just how the body just slows down in the sense of just you trying to get rid of your excess fat. And I like to think I'm a gym goer, but obviously during lockdown that went out the window and the stress levels shot up, and hence my kind of comfort eating shot up. So yeah, no, it is a constant struggle. I won't kind of deny it.
And so I think, and you used to be a dancer, didn't you? So, I mean, what's your experience now of your weight? Because I think ex-athletes do find this. I mean,
yeah, no, it's interesting. I still dance. I do some dancing at school, and I always have to film myself to memorize these routines. And so I've got them. I can see my weight over the years, just obviously getting worse and bigger. And so again, it is a wake up call that I can't just shrug it off. And also that I know that there are moments now when, I've been this last kind of 4 or 5 weeks, I haven't had a nap in the afternoon, dare I say, but switch to school mode, and I know I'll be having naps, and it's all quite a bit of a cycle, really.
Is it a good thing to have the nap, or is it a sign of being stressed or tired?
I think it's a mixture, but if I come home and have, because I'm part-time, I come home at lunchtime, I might have some, I don't know, some biscuits or whatever, then boom, I'm like, yeah,
I got you.
Yeah.
So I think that, there's a couple of things that I'd like to do. One is just to try and replace some of the things that you do. So nothing too drastic. I'm not even going to say, oh, don't eat the cakes and don't eat the crisps. I just think first thing, can we replace? So bacon itself, I wouldn't say is a bad thing. I done a webinar on Pork Island, Okinawa Island, where they eat a lot of pork. The difference is in Japan there, where they're the longest lived in the Western world, developed world, is that they ferment their pork.
Yeah.
They ferment it and they eat a lot of seaweed. And so I would say with the bacon, can we ferment it?
Sure.
And that would literally just be, that would literally just be putting some shoyu on your bacon. When you've got it in the fridge, you're gonna eat it later. You can put some shoyu on there and just leave it there, and then you just take your bacon out to fry it, because the issues are what are the toxins that are in the food we're eating, because it's the toxins that ruin the gut.
Sure.
So if we can look at, for example, the toxins we don't know the toxins in the yogurt, what the cow was fed on.
Sure.
If the cow was fed moldy grains, and the grass was sprayed or whatever with pesticide, that's coming through the milk. It's then going to be in the yogurt. But if we can, what we know is breaking that down with fermentation, it's going to be healthier for you, because the toxins are going to be partly dealt with before it hits your tummy. So we can look at kind of reducing the toxins, in your system, literally just by fermenting things.
Okay.
So ferment, and it enhances the taste.
Okay.
So you can do that with your bacon.
Okay.
And then with the kefir, I know you've got your flatmate downstairs. If you can get some kefir from her and then add the fruit. So add
it to the yogurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, so you get the kefir and add it, say, the night before.
Okay.
So that it's all infused in and nice for you by the time by the time you're eating it. And let's just see how that is. Now the other thing is that the fact that you eat just basically once a day, is that something you felt that's worked for you?
Yeah, no, it's been an interesting journey. Because I remember you saying, I don't know, 2-3 years ago that really, we should be eating like two meals a day, really. And you had just started not doing breakfast, and I was like thinking, there's no way I cannot have breakfast. There's absolutely no way I will be able to do it. And but you were right, and I surprised myself, by it's doable. And you were saying the body is resilient, and it is resilient, and yes, I might fall later on during the day at various hurdles, but I think that lesson of realizing, yes, I still need a coffee to get me out the door, but actually the cereal intake, which I did have before, now I don't, so and then kind of scaling back just the amount, I think, cut to 5 years ago, and I would be having like, a nice little like mini lunch and all the rest of it, so that's, I've learned, I think, a lot from that. And I know I think, yes, I think 1 meal a day for me at 52 is probably where I need to be, really.
Yeah. And I think I can see you doing well on that. And we should be able to refine that evening meal, because I think what's happening in the evening meal is you're just having too many carbs in that meal, and we can tell. So what we're going to do tomorrow is, in the morning, we're going to look and see whether you're in ketosis.
Okay.
So ketosis is, we'll measure your glucose.
Okay.
And we'll measure your ketones.
Okay.
So normally, after an overnight fast, the body should be the ketone should be above a certain level, and the glucose shouldn't be above a certain level. So we can have a look at that and interpret it.
Okay.
Because that informs us, using the glucose and the ketones, it kind of gives us some idea of how much carb you should have the night before.
Yeah. Okay.
So we can work out
can
work out the perfect amount for you, and then going forwards you can make the right choices.
Cool, brilliant.
So that's one thing we can do. So you're going to ferment your bacon and
add my kefir to my yogurt,
and we'll do that in the morning. And then one more thing I'd like you to do, because it's a psychological thing, isn't it? We're feeding something, we're feeding an emotion, we're feeding something in the subconscious. My idea is to try and get in touch with that bit, because I don't think just changing things, just knowing your glucose and your ketones isn't going to do it. Because there's that saying, isn't there, if how-tos were a thing, we'd all be skinny rich and
for real,
and happy. So I think we've got to deal with the subconscious, and there's two ways I would like to do that. One is, if you could, is to journal. So in the evening before you go to bed,
I could blog myself, couldn't I?
Yeah, you could. You could blog yourself, and just to say, what did you eat, and what were the emotions that you were feeling at the time. So you look back, even with your banana or your apple, how did you feel? And in the evening, what kind of emotions were there when you were reaching for that extra thing? And then you can close your eyes and take yourself back to that point calmly and see what comes up. See what comes up, what emotions come up. It might be that you flip to some time in your life when you remember some situation where that type of feeling was needed, or what have you. But just go through it and say what you felt, and then go a little bit deeper and see what comes up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I will yeah, it'd be quite fascinating to blog yourself each night and just kind of be
Yeah.
a reflective kind of moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you just kind of like stuff your emotions down, don't you?
Exactly. Yeah,
You know?
exactly. And it's just in a in a nice way, just allow it to come up, so that bring that emotion out in front of you and look at it and deal with it.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah, yeah.
So good. So rendezvous in the morning.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So I'm having this tonight.
Okay. So what we could do also with that is eventually we can create the same thing with the shoyu koji. Yeah.
And even though it serves two, I'm having it all. Because it's worth it.
Okay.
Okay, so...
Yeah, so it's good to take it out of the plastic because the shoyu koji is gonna...
Take all of it out.
Yeah. Stick it in a bowl in there. And then squirt of the shoyu koji.
So you want to tell me?
Yeah, keep going, I'll tell you. And then you can turn it over.
Oh.
Just, that's enough actually on that side. Just make sure that it's all, yeah, go on.
Turn it over?
Yeah, turn it over and mix it. Make sure that all the different layers have a little bit in.
Oh, crumbs, okay. So that's going to be...
Yeah, and then just turn that over. And just
like that?
Yeah, and then that's it. And then do the same with all the other. Great. So, how, I'm just wondering how you're feeling about Tim's journey so far. And he's very brave, isn't he? He's very brave letting me in and letting you guys in to be able to, look at what he's doing. And just to say that some of the things that we mentioned, if it's the first time you're listening to this, the webinars, I've got things like the fig in oil. I've got a webinar on Dr. Essie's Kitchen on my website that you can tune into for that. Things like he mentions kefir and kombucha. I have a module on probiotics, and you can find more information about those things on the website as well. And really my approach with Tim, just to say, is that if he were a patient, in my clinic, and he was coming because he was really sick, I might be a bit more strict and go through a whole my diet to detox program. But I'm not doing that with Tim, because actually his main thing is about his controlling his eating. And he's already eating fermented foods, and it's about getting to grips with that. So over the weeks and months, you're going to see us really getting to grips with those things. So that's why I'm actually not, I didn't pull him up on a number of things. I could have mentioned about the fruit juice. I could have mentioned about him saying that the low salt bacon was a good thing. I could pick holes in a lot of things, but actually, we're on a journey together, and as we go through that journey and we begin to deal with things, make some gains, then we can deal with the other bits and pieces. And yeah, so again, about the chicken korma and stuff like that, you'll see how he, what he does in the next series, or next show, if you like, how he modifies, how because he starts by saying, I want to get in the kitchen and get out. But the wonderful thing is he does begin to change. And a lot of these things with the fermented stuff, it doesn't take time. It really doesn't take time. So you're going to see how he manages to sort of change the way he, the way he behaves in the kitchen, if you like. So let's go and look at the glucose, because we talked about the glucose and stuff. So let's have a look at that. Right, so morning, Tim.
Good morning, indeed.
So you ready to have your glucose and your ketones done?
Yes.
Yeah. So let me check that it's working. Using one of these. That's good. Okay, I'll have your finger. Nice and warm. Sharp scratch. Okay, that's measuring the ketones. There we go. Not 0.3. 0.3, I know. I'll explain in a second. I'm doing the glucose now. So that's 5.6.
Okay.
All right. What does that mean? Right, so the importance of that is to tell me what's happening with your liver
Yeah.
and your your metabolism. So let's do the glucose first.
Okay.
Right,
5.6.
so 5.6. So if you were diabetic, so you haven't had anything to eat since what time?
5:30.
5:30, right?
And
And
had a coffee and some rosé.
last night.
Yeah, after 5:30.
After 5:30,
Yeah.
okay. Did the coffee have any sugar in it?
No.
Okay, good. So, so you had a fast, and it's now what, 9 o'clock?
9 o'clock.
So you had more than 12 hours, so 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 hours, no food. And your glucose is 5.6. So if you were diabetic or getting into diabetic territory, it would be over 6.
Okay.
Right? You certainly 7s, 8s, you're going to be, going to see your GP about being diabetic. So the glucose in the morning is anything, when I test it on people, anything from high 3s to 6
Okay.
in a normal person,
Yeah.
non-ill person.
Yeah.
Now, what I would say is that really after that long a fast, I would have perhaps thought that your should be lower. It should be, I would say, low 5s or high 4s.
Okay.
High 4s, I would have thought. Now, when you see that happen, then we can look. Well, let's just leave that there for a minute. The glucose, we can now look at the ketone. So the ketone at 0.3, that's kind of a usual level that I find, averagely on people. So that's good.
Okay.
However, what I see is that for people that maintain a good weight, their sort of ideal weight, the ratio between the glucose and the ketones is important.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you want to have a lower ratio between, so it wants to be really, in order for you to keep that weight off, the ketones needs to be higher.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in the morning, because it's when you fast, you use up the glucose in your body.
Yeah.
You're going to use it up, stored in your liver, various places, and you will, first of all, your body uses all of that up.
Okay.
Right? And then the body starts to burn fat.
Yeah.
And when you're burning fat, you produce ketones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's telling me that you're not burning fat. You still got carbs on board. Right? Now, it also tells me about the health of your mitochondria.
Okay.
Remember the mitochondria?
Yeah.
So they're the energy producing, they're the engines of the cell. They produce ATP.
Yeah. Okay.
They need a fast period for them to break down and build up again.
Sure.
And it's the mitochondria that give you energy. So when you wake up in the morning, do you feel full of life, or do you feel a bit,
I wouldn't say I feel zesty.
So out of 10, what would you say your energy levels are?
I know, 6, 7, something like that.
So and 10 is perfect.
Perfect, yeah.
So then what you should see is once you get the ketone level up a bit more, your energy level should come up, because it's a reflection of the functional working of your mitochondria. So when that glucose goes down a little bit and the ketones comes up,
then
it means that you haven't got carbs on board, and it also means that the mitochondria is working well and you're burning fat.
Okay.
So that would be the aim, to get there. These are good numbers to work with. Because then it tells me we can then go look at what you ate and say, how do we tweak that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, I am fasting a little bit more this morning, so I won't eat until 12:30 at the very earliest. So hopefully that
So you would normally... So first thing to tackle is what you ate last night. So what did you eat last night?
I had that lovely miso pulled pork, which is delish, actually.
I'm sure it is, but do you know what? It probably had quite a lot of sugar in it as well.
Oh, yeah, they made you pour this lovely sauce over it.
Okay, yeah.
Which was just the pièce de résistance. And I had some... obviously avocado with it, and a small portion of cheese. However, after that, because I had accidentally bought on special an apple turnover and some small, I want to say really quite small chocolate eclairs.
Right.
I'm really shaming myself now, but I knew I had to eat them.
All right, of course. You couldn't possibly put them in the bin or anything.
No. So I had, 1 apple turnover and 2 small chocolate eclairs.
So there's quite a lot of sugar in there.
I'm
actually surprised that those figures aren't worth.
Because of that?
Yeah, you've got a pretty robust system. You really have. So the thing is and how about your journaling? Did you do some journaling?
Yeah, no, I vlogged at 10:30.
Right. And what came out?
I think, to be honest, I know it was all quite. I wasn't gripping my chair and just I said, I could have easily eaten 3 walnut whips. Just because I knew I was still. Like you've always said, you need to go to bed a little bit hungry. And I was a little bit hungry.
After all that?
Yeah, no, I was a little bit hungry.
Oh, wow.
But then I hadn't eaten. This is like a 5-hour gap from 5:30 to 10:30. So you could say it's legit.
Well, let's talk about that. Is it legit? Because what happens is when you eat something sugary like that, your insulin level goes...
Skyrockets.
And then it comes...
Boom.
And that's when you feel hungry.
Okay.
Yeah, so that hunger is because of the sugars. It's coming up
Spiking,
and down, so if we can stop the insulin doing that, then you don't feel hungry. You'll feel, when I say go to bed hungry, it's not like, oh, I'm starving. It's more like, okay, my tummy's nice and, if you like, flat and calm. It's not bloated, like you just stuff yourself. It's nice. It's more of that feeling than being really hungry. You should be going to bed kind of alert. Not sleepy from food.
Yeah.
So what are we gonna do?
Well, today? I'm gonna go out to the shops and get some fruit to put in my kefir.
Yeah.
And, segue off my yogurts. And then I think I might well have the pork strips, which have been soy kuchi.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and just kind of do that. And I've got no more secret kind of food
That needs to be
because it needs
finished.
to be
But you've got
eaten.
your walnut whips in the cupboard.
That,
still.
yeah, my walnut whips are always going to be there, and I have got plenty of them. So yeah.
But it sounds like your system can cope with pudding, but not.
Well,
it might just be that you don't have. Is there any way that you could just put the others away rather than putting them in the cupboard like that? Just have one out and then put the rest. You know, so you've got another step to go to get them out of somewhere. Even bring them up here. You know. So that to have them.
It's shaming.
It's not shaming. No, it's not shaming. It's just that you've got to make another step to. It's like me. If I had Chris in the cupboard, as opposed to having them downstairs with you, I'm more likely to eat them. Open the cupboard, there they are. Whereas if I've got to go down, so I've just got another thought process before I go down.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah, could do that.
We could move them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what is when you were vlogging? I mean, we'll have a look at that. What you've said and everything, but I haven't seen it yet. Did you go any deeper?
I just kind of felt, for me, I was quite chilled.
Mm-hmm.
I was just quite calm. You know, yes, I could have eaten a bit more, but I'm not. You know.
And it was okay to do that.
And it was okay to do it. You know, I'm kind of like, I know I can see the bigger picture. I know what I need to get to, and I would like to think I have a certain amount of discipline. Yes, I will fall, you know, at moments, probably fairly, you know, soon.
Random, it happens,
And then I think, you know, when school starts, then it will be a different ball game. I'm sure my emotions will be a lot up and down and just like stress, and so I probably need to bug myself instantly coming in from school and just going, you know,
just go over things. I think just to go over, you know, if you've had a time where you've been, if you like, out of control, you know what it's like, that you can almost see yourself eating that thing, but it's happening in slow motion, and you're almost like denying it.
Well, this is it. I've always thought it's a life of denial.
Yeah. So the thing is, I think it's almost like having an alter. It's like you've got this alter ego. And then when you go into that alter ego and you eat that food that you shouldn't eat, your main self switches off. You sort of go into this glaze.
Yeah, well, again, you see in the staff room, there's so many cakes, literally. So lovely food gets brought in, and that's just like, as soon as like 10:30, you're swooping in already, you know, and it takes a strong person to be able to walk away from, you know, those types of cakes. Yeah.
And so that's the thing, though. It's like, when you say a strong person, I think there's two of you. There's the normal, everyday Tim, and then there's the alter, the sweets and cakes comfort.
Well, I was brought up on sweets, really. Like, literally, we had a whole stash of sweets. Always in the house.
Wow.
You know, so, you know.
And what memories do you have of that?
I suppose I look back at it from a child's point of view, and my parents, like, and I was just like, oh, you gave me some April fruits, some like a whole range, and I got them, you know, and yeah, you know, it was just the norm. Yeah, it was just.
So what that says to me is that there's the child getting what he wants.
Yeah, absolutely. And the younger child getting what he wants.
Yeah. And I mean, Sue Bratchie talks about this in her webinar, where she talks about the little kid becoming the big kid, and that alter doesn't necessarily change. That's just always there. The expression of it may, you know, maybe be a bit more sophisticated. But my feeling is that we need to acknowledge that part of you, that alter, exists.
Yeah.
And if you like, let that alter speak. And eventually the idea is to integrate those personalities. So when you going back over the eating is to speak to that altar, or let that altar speak, and just go with whatever, whatever comes.
Yeah.
Because I think what we do is we turn off self, the main self, when we enter into these sort of addictive patterns, and that other altar speaks or takes control whilst we're in this glaze, and then once that deed is over, that altar goes away, and we're back. We switch back on, and we're rational again.
Split personality.
Yeah. And so I maybe just acknowledge that this other self
be creeping out
is there. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just there. And it's about dealing with that and integrating it into yourself. And the thing is that what that altar will bring up is, I don't know whether it's an altar, I'm not a psychologist, but this is what my bro science on on psychology, but is that it's bringing up a part of yourself that you see, if we do the discipline thing, we're actually trying to crush that and we're trying to just suppress that, when in fact we need to bring that out. And that's what the blogging is. Bring it out and say, okay, what happened? When did I switch? When did I switch self off and allow opal fruits?
No.
I get what I want self.
Yeah.
When did that switch in, and what was that?
What's the catalyst?
So it'd be interesting to see over the week what you get out of that. So the thing is, then what we can do is maybe midweek or give you a few days to do that, to sort of get into a new rhythm, and then we'll check this again.
Okay, cool. All right. Yeah. So we can track it.
Yeah. Great.
Fab. Thank you.
Okay. Right. So I hope you enjoyed that fascinating look into the psychology, my bro science, as I call it, the psychology of eating. The reason it's really good that came up with Tim is because this happens often in my patients. Patients come to see me, they're sick, and often it's people with chronic fatigue issues, pain, constipation, musculoskeletal problems, and they want my approach. They want this sort of toxins gut approach, but then they come up against these hurdles, these blockages, which is it looks like self-sabotage, and I've had to begin to deal with these issues in people, because part of me was like, well, just follow the program. Follow the program and you're going to be fine. But then time and time again, I would see these blockages happening with people. And so I've had to sort of learn about how to deal with this. And it is very much about the subconscious. And we can't ignore the subconscious. So follow us as we go on this journey together, Tim and I, to see how he manages to deal with that. But anyway, so let's move on to cholesterol. Now for the cholesterol. This one, I need a bit more blood. Same one.
Poor finger.
It'd be nice and warm. Time. Cholesterol machine. So cholesterol 5.46, HDL 0.72, and the triglycerides 1.34. So we've got your cholesterol, so you can use that now. So your cholesterol was 5.46. Now, I don't really take the total cholesterol result into account at all, really. So some people say, oh, well, 5 is normal, 7 or something like that, but it really doesn't compute like that. And for those people that are interested in what I'm going to be talking about, cholesterol, the HDL and triglyceride, on my fats module, you can go through the whole module and it explains, there's one particular talk that's just talking about cholesterol and how you interpret your GP results. So anyway, so the HDL is the so-called good cholesterol, and yours was 0.72.
So out of 5.46, the good bit is 0.7.
You could say that, yeah. You could say that, and really, you want it to be higher. I would say 2, 3. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And the way you get it higher, there's a few ways.
Okay.
One is exercise.
Yeah. Okay.
One is changing your diet like you are doing, eating more fermented food, reducing inflammation. And another one is fish oil. Fish oil and olive oil will increase your HDL.
Well, I have to put my figs in olive oil.
Yes,
so
exactly. So you can start, you can start increasing that, the intake of the oil portion of that. Right. Another easy way, literally, is fish oil supplements, and I can let you have the one that you could take. And then if we check this again in a couple of weeks' time, these figures should be different.
I've just bought some calamari. Does that help?
Good. Yeah, it does. It does. It helps. It absolutely helps. And then the triglyceride, the TG, was 1.34.
Okay.
Now, most people, if you go to GP, they're not going to be interested in your triglyceride unless it's over 2. But I love to look at the triglyceride because it tells me about how many sugars, what the sugars are doing.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a really good one. And anything that's over 1,
okay,
says that you've got
too much sugar.
Too much sugars in the diet, and that can be carbs full stop, or fruit, any sugar, carb. Yeah. And so but that dovetails into the glucose ketone index as well. So as you cut your carbs down, that glucose figure will go down, your ketone figure will go up. Okay. Yeah, so we're looking at, even fruit puts that up.
Yeah, it's a shame. I bought some grapes as well. So I was thinking that's my little extra supplement for lunch with my banana and.
Well, that would put that up, you see.
Yeah.
So are you either or? You're not going to have banana, apple, and your grapes. You're
I haven't got any apples, so that's out the way.
Yeah.
I only have about 4 or 5 grapes.
That's fine.
They're teeny tiny.
Yeah, that's fine. That's good. And that'll sort of keep, and we can keep an eye on that. I tend not to measure the cholesterol all the time, maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks, to see how we're going.
Okay. So if it's above 6, then it's problems, basically.
What's above 6?
5.4.
No, I'm not interested in that one.
Okay.
No, I'm not interested. I'm interested in the HDL and the triglyceride.
Okay.
The HDL needs to go up. That needs to go up substantially. Exercise does that as well. But the thing is, if there's only so much exercise you can do before you get injured if you've got inflammation going on in the background.
I did do a 5k run yesterday.
Okay,
just
so
saying.
Well done. How often do you run and go to the gym?
At the moment, I'm doing 1 5k run a week, and my gym membership is on hold until I see what the best deal is out. So I'm just trying to, I know I will go back to the gym because I have to. But normally, if the gym is up and running, I will try and go twice a week. Okay. Which I need to up anyway.
Okay, good. All right. Well, we that's good enough. And so you've understood about the HDL. So HDL comes down with exercise, comes down with the olive oil, the fish oil. Triglycerides is about your sugars.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Great. So I hope that's a good introduction to the glucose and the ketone and some of those cholesterol measurements. And I'm sure for some of you that's going to be a bit of a surprise that it's the cholesterol, but I'm talking about carbs. And this is really important. It's a key point that I'm wanting to make here about the triglycerides and the HDL. It's not to do with how much fat you are eating. And if you do want to look more into that, then the fats module on my webinar will go through that for you. So to finish off, I want to go back because I cut us off from Tim where he's using the ferment to ferment his bacon. I want to just go back to that to show you what the first little steps that he's made to ferment before we close. So I'll go back to that little clip.
Okay, so
so it's good to take it out of the plastic because the shoikoji is gonna
take all of it out.
Yeah. Stick it in a bowl in there, and then squirt of the shoikoji.
So you want to tell me?
Yeah, keep going, I'll tell you. And then you can turn it over.
Oh.
Just that's enough actually on that side. Just make sure that it's all. Yeah, go on.
Turn it over.
Yeah, turn it over and mix it. Make sure all the different layers have a little bit in.
Oh crumbs! Okay. So that's gonna be.
Yeah, and then just turn that over and just
like that.
Yeah, and then that's it, and then do the same with all the other ones. So then you can put a plate on that and put it in the fridge, and then take pieces out as you need to fry them up, and it's beginning to break down the toxins and make it also more digestible for you.
Okay.
So that's your bacon done, and that you can leave that for days.
Oh, okay.
Bacon you can leave anyway because it's it's cured, but you can leave it for good 2-3 days doing that.
Okay, good to know.
Excellent.
So I'm having this tonight.
Okay. So what we could do also with that is eventually we can create the same thing with the shoikoji. Yeah.
And even though it serves 2, I'm having it all. Because it's worth it.
Okay. So I found these pork strips in the freezer. So we're gonna do that as well as an alternative to your ready meal.
So I'm gonna just whack it in a bowl.
Yeah.
From the bigger bowl.
Yeah, you might do, but let's just use that one for now, and then squirt some shoikoji over it. Yeah.
Is that enough?
Yeah, that's enough. And then that'll, as it defrosts, you could just make sure it's nice and coated in that, and then you can use that again. You can have it defrosting and shoikojiing over a day, 2 days. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Working its wonders, and then if you want to fry the whole lot up, you can with your lettuce and stuff like that. So that is an alternative to that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. This is using miso. We are using a type of miso. It's rice. It's just rice. Normal miso, maybe barley or soy, stuff like that. But we're just using the shoikoji for simplicity today. Okay.
Okay.
Great. So there we have Tim starting on his journey, and it wasn't too difficult, was it? It didn't take too much time to squirt some shoikoji on the meat. So just to say that you can squirt it on frozen meat like we did there, meat, fish, chicken, or on fresh as well. Just make sure it's coated. Um, Use more rather than less of the shoikuji if you're not sure how much to use. You saw for that amount of pork, we used about a teaspoon, and as that defrosts, we're going to mix it all in. Now, you can leave it if it's fresh meat, 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, and then cook it. If you've defrosted it overnight, you can leave it. My friend Yasko, who's Japanese, from whom I've learned all of this, would say you can leave a day, or sometimes more. But what you do is the nose test. You see if all of those ferment needs to cover that meat. Obviously, when it's defrosted, it won't all be covered, but once it's defrosted, you need to make sure it's all mixed in, particularly if you're going to leave it for a day or two. So if you're going to leave it for a day or two, after 8 hours or what have you, before you go to bed, you're going to check that all that ferment is mixed in, and do the nose test. It should smell fresh. If it starts to smell off, it usually means you didn't use enough shoikuji. Shoikuji, because it's got good microbes in it, it's going to eat the bad microbes. So it's a way of rescuing meat that's about to go off, if you like, although I wouldn't suggest you do that. But if it's well covered, the meat's not going to go off. The shoikuji is actually going to digest all of the bad bugs. So when you're looking to use it, it should smell fresh, and that's how you know that it's okay. The nose test is, does my meat smell fresh? If it smells off, you either left it too long without enough shoikuji in, or you didn't put enough shoikuji in the first place. So yeah, so that nose test is vital. And if you're not sure, then leave it just overnight, either fresh meat or defrosted, and then cook it the next day. But like I say, just testimony from Yasko. She tells me, she grew up in the mountains and no fridges, right? So how do they keep their meat and stuff? So it would be they shoikuji there. Well, they shoikuji everything as far as I can see in Japan. So I hope you found that useful, and do follow us for the coming webinars on this, because it's fascinating to see. You're going to see whether or not he managed to cook that, and what it tasted like, if he did even manage, and just to see, with the vlogging, are we getting to that altar? Are we managing the subconscious? Do we have any fails? What do we do with that? So that's coming up in the next in coming series, in this coming series, and we'll look to see as we go along what happens with the glucose and the ketones and the triglycerides, so that you really begin to get to grips with how you might use this yourself. Good. I think that's enough from us, and see you next time. That's it for now, everyone. Remember, change starts with you. Be well.